flores, llorona, las flores del campo santo, que cuando las mueve el viento, llorona, parece que están llorando, que cuando las mueve el viento, llorona, parece que están llorando. Ay, mi llorona, llorona, llorona de azul celeste. Ay, mi llorona, llorona, llorona de azul celeste. Tápame con tu rebozo, llorona, porque me muero de frío. Tápame con tu rebozo, llorona, porque me muero de frío. Un santo Cristo de fierro, llorona, mis penas le conté yo. A un santo Cristo de fierro, llorona, mis penas le conté yo. ¿Cuáles fueron mis penas, llorona, que el santo Cristo lloró? ¿Cuáles fueron mis penas, llorona, que el santo Cristo lloró?
Welcome to the Sacramento Center for Spiritual Living. Whether you call this the Dia de los Muertos or All Souls Day or just the wonderful Sunday, the 1st of November, we are so glad that you have come and joined us. We do have a couple of housekeeping notes. First is this service will be recorded and used on our social media, so you're welcome to turn off your video or change your username, whatever you're comfortable with. We do ask that you stay off of chat because we're creating a sacred space here, and that back conversation kind of interrupts the energy. Otherwise, we are ready to start, and it is my great joy and privilege to welcome our senior minister, Reverend Sharon Dunn. She has a master's from the Holmes Institute in Consciousness Studies. She's been our leader for close to 6 years now. And we are delighted that she is holding us in consciousness in this time of staying in grace. Reverend Sharon.
Good morning. Thank you for that. That's awesome. I see some of you are in the spirit. That's awesome. I see kitty cats, superwoman. I see a witch. I'm doing romper room right now. And you introduced me as Sharon Dunn, but actually, I'm RGB. And you know what's really going to be fun this morning is we're not only celebrating Dia de Muertos, or some people say Dia de los Muertos, which is a more modern version, actually. And I just see Reverend Karina just joined us from Puerto Vallarta. And I imagine she is right in the middle of celebrating the Day of the Dead, and I should have her give this description of it. But it is actually a holiday where in Mexico and Spain too, they celebrate those who have passed, and but they do it in a real upbeat celebration, which I think is marvelous. And so they do all kinds of interesting things, like they go to the graveyards and they build altars and they put food on the altars, so that the deceased or those beloveds on the other side get something to eat. And they have their favorite foods, and they also use marigolds, which are those bright orange yellow flowers, because they're pungent, and that helps bring them to to bring them back for the celebration. And I just think that it's fun to know that they often tell funny stories about those who have gone on. And so I was just wondering quickly, if you have a funny story, very briefly, that you would like to share with someone who has passed on. And we're a little bit later, we're going to have a remembrance video for those of you who did send pictures in. And I apologize for those of you who I didn't get your pictures in time, or you sent them in time and I didn't get them for a couple of different fun reasons. Obviously, those who passed on were playing tricks on us. And, but anyway, one story about Chris, my husband who has passed on, is, and you'll see in the video, I put a picture of him where? At the car show. Where for 45 years did we go? Anytime there was a car show within driving distance, to the car show. His father was a car dealer and had a car dealership in Walnut Creek, the first Volkswagen car dealership, uh, Dunn Imports. So he would wake up on the weekend and say, "Honey, you want to go to a car show?" And I would be like, "Heck yeah." Do you know that he's been gone for almost 3 years and I've never gone to a car show since? That's my funny story. Raise your hand if you have a funny story. Anybody? No.
I do.
Linda does.
Well, I have one about my dad. My dad, for as long as I can remember, every morning he had oatmeal. He cooked oatmeal for breakfast, and that was his with his toast. So one morning, he was getting up, he was making his oatmeal, and he dropped it. It spilled all over the floor. So, and this is in the middle of winter. We are at 35 below. Didn't matter. Dad went up to the store to get more. He would not start his day without his hot oatmeal. Didn't matter if it was summer or winter. But
That's
yeah,
funny.
there he was, you know, didn't even, he had his pajama top on. He just put his winter coat on over top of it, winter boots, and out he went.
Oh my gosh, thank you. Debbie, you got one, looks like.
I do. So mine's also about my dad. And so one thing that he did in his later years when he was living with us is he would proclaim that he hated exercise. And then to keep himself fit, he'd go exercise for 2 hours. But he'd always talk about how he didn't exercise and he hated exercise. So he kept himself very much in shape in those later years. The other thing he did was he would talk about his father and how his father would cover his food with black pepper. And my dad would start grinding the pepper onto his food, and he'd say, you know, my dad put so much pepper on, it was like blah, blah, blah. And so by the end, my dad was putting that much pepper on too. We thought those were funny.
That is funny. I love that. Anyone else? Funny story? Patricia does.
Well, it's a cute remembrance. It's about my mom. And when she was, I don't know, 5 or 6, she got saddled with a younger brother, and that she was completely in charge of. And of course, being older sister and younger brother, he was a pest and she wanted nothing to do with him. So she would escape by going and finding a tall tree, taking an apple and a book and hiding up in the tree. So as people, her mother, were calling for her, she'd just stay up there quietly reading her book. And everyone in my family to this day has a total joy and consuming passion for reading. And I always think of her sitting up in that tree, just reading away.
Oh,
and
that's funny.
we're her legacy.
That's great. Anyone else? A funny story. This is Dia de Muertos, and we are telling fun stories of those. Judy's got one. Unmute.
Well, what we always laughed about my husband, he was an engineer. Everything had to be perfect. I'm an artist. Nothing's perfect. And when he'd come home every single time, he would go around and straighten everything as he walked through the house. Whether it was a pencil, one of my pictures, anything, dishes, they had to be straight. So we always used to kid him about that.
Gosh, that's funny. That is funny. Anybody else? Margie's got a story.
About my mother, and I had a cousin come and visit me. She's 3 years younger than me. And so I was playing with the kids, and then she came to visit. And so I stayed with her a good part of the day. We had fun. And then I got bored and I went and played back with the kids. And then one of the kids said later, hey, Margie, who's that with your mother? So I looked, and it was my mother and her coming down the street with an ice cream. Licking an ice cream, and I ran up, how come I don't have one? Oh, you're too busy. You're playing with your friends. So I learned a lesson.
You learn. You got to. Well, yeah, the lesson now. Is it about ice cream or is it?
Yeah, the ice cream.
Wonderful. Well, I invite everyone to enjoy today being Dia de Muertos, Dia de los Muertos, however you say it, Day of the Dead, and think of your loved ones in a nice, upbeat, happy way. And remember a funny story about them. I think that's a wonderful way to celebrate this. And we are going to, we're going to get started here. And I am going to ring the bell. I was thinking I should use my gavel. And I have the honor then of introducing our practitioner for the day, Margie Luke Feld. She's going to take our silliness deeper.
And on this holy days, I know that there is one love, and that love is the divine presence that showers us all on this day. And as I know that this divine presence is here right now, I know that each one of us is a conduit for that one presence. And I know that it is all good, perfect, harmony and peace and love and joy and happiness. And I know that we are one. And with that, we bless our service today. We bless our message, our music, our poetry, and our announcements, and our benediction, and everything that's here today. We're so blessed. And together we say, and so it is. And stay muted, join me as we read our visioning. And we are a welcoming sanctuary community where all are accepted, valued, and supported in the global family. Our mission is we inspire and nurture personal and global transformation through the teaching of science of mind. And our purpose is in love and joy. We connect in service to all life. So it is. The moment you step out of the ordinary ranks, the moment you step out of the possession that moves endlessly down the aisle, you are in the spotlight of evolution. Your own choice has decided you, and you are no longer going to think as others. Ernest Holmes. All intelligence abides in your subconscious and awaits your call upon it. You may say you do not know what to do, but at the center of your mind is the clear decision that you should make. It is right there. Raymond Charles Barker, The Power of Decision. Choice is the engine of evolution. If you choose unconsciously, you will evolve unconsciously. If you choose consciously, you will evolve consciously. The power of choice is the greatest gift you have been given, second only to the gift of life itself. Gary Zukav. And so it is.
Thank you. So we are going to enjoy our remembrance video. And for those of you who would like to contribute to our video for next year, be sure to send your photos with a little bio to Reverend Sharon CSL at Gmail, because this was just an honor and a privilege to make for you. These are Patrick's family, and I found his photos this morning, so we'll include them in the video next year. Thank you. That was wonderful.
And now we are blessed to hear from our very own in-house poet, and he's ours alone. Well, we're sharing him today, but Doug Van Wokum has been playing the drum and sharing poetry for many years, using the powerful poetry of Rumi and Hospice and many others. He also writes and shares his own poetry, which is deeply influenced by the Science of Mind teaching. Please, please join with me in welcoming our very own Doug Van Wokum.
Good morning, everyone. As most of you know, in some of my poetry, I use a repeating phrase at the end of each of the stanzas. I always invite those listening to join in with me on each of those last lines as a way of participating and sharing in the group energy. And also because I felt that repeating something out loud over and over sets it more firmly in the mind. I add to that invitation now in this Zoom experience by saying, please join in on that repeating phrase, softly or out loud, because you are in the privacy of your own home and no one can hear you. This is called Always at Choice. This life was here before eternity began and will remain when forever winds down. Friends, it may take me 3 classes, 3 decades, or 3 lifetimes. I can't really say. All I know is I'm here to learn. I am always at choice. We know now, don't we, that all prayer must include what's best for everyone involved. If not, then how can we enjoy a meal when others at our table go hungry? So let's all pray together and remember, we are always at choice. Tell me, why should we struggle so hard to reach those higher realms of learning when what we need is right here all around us and within our own grasp? God, if we learn just one thing in this life, let it be that we are always at choice. When the acrobat swings out over the crowd and lets go her flying trapeze, she bets her entire life on knowing right where the next swing will be. My life swings somewhere between the 2 spiraling towers. The one is of my own free will, and the other is God's amazing grace. Friends, what I'm really trying to say here is, I am always at choice. It's true, the awakened mind can set the powerful horses of intention thundering across the open prairies of the heart. But none of that matters. If we forget, we are always at choice. So what if the poor person wins the lottery? So what if the rich one gains enlightenment with their last dime spent? None of that matters if they forget. They are always at choice. Praise God, I am finally learning now how to dance between those 2 great pounding hammers of life and of death. Who really knows? I may live forever, or I may die tonight. But none of that really matters if I forget I am always at choice. So let's set a welcoming table and make the most beautiful meal. Let's spread these ideas out before us like plates of warm, nourishing food, and never forget, life always tastes so much better when we remember we are always at choice. Friends, help me now. I don't know if I should end this poem right here now or not. Oh, wait, I just remembered. Ha! I am always that choice.
It gets me every time. Thank you. I actually asked for that poem today because our topic for today is divine authority to choose. We have a new month, pinch and a punch for the first of the month. Anyone know that saying? Pinch and a punch for the first of the month? Well, my sister and I used to say that to each other because my mother used to say it to us. But on the first day of each month, it was always, you got pinched and punched. And if you look that up on Google, you will see that there's quite a history with the pinch and a punch for the first of the month. Let's see how I'm doing here. So we have a new month is the point, and we have a new theme, which is living as compassionate conduits. We get to spend a month on the theme, living as compassionate conduits. I think that's wonderful. So we also have 2 new books of the month. Patricia will be glad to know. One is Start Where You Are, a guide to compassionate living with Pema Chodron. Do we love her? Yes. And the other is 12 Steps to a Compassionate Life, Karen Armstrong. So those are 2 books we can get started reading. And I love this quote by Ernest Holmes. We cannot live a choiceless life. Every day, every moment, every second, there is choice. If it were not so, we would not be individuals. And it is so true that the biggest gift we have as human beings is the power to choose. And I am celebrating not only Dia de los Muertos, Halloween, pinch and a punch, but also it's election eve. Election eve. Or you could say the Sunday before election. Do we have enough to celebrate today? And what I'm celebrating with the election is choice. I've been thinking all week long about how grateful I am that I have choice. And you know what else? Because we are one, because we have this idea that each one of us belong to each other, I have watched all of us in America with this giant energetic of condemning our choice, arguing our choice, acting as if it's some kind of, are you kidding me? WTF? Where's the faith? We have choice. And all of a sudden, I decided, what if for the next 48 hours, we did nothing more than honor each other's choice? My heavens, I just got goosebumps. I got God bumps. I just got the chilly willies. We live in a country called a democracy where we have choice, where we have a government that responds to our choice. Yeah. Don't go there. Don't go there. Can you, with me, 48 hours, love, fall back into love across the aisle? Give thanks, breathing in, breathing out, like we talked about last week, of the privilege to vote, of the honor to choose. I'm there. The other thing I've been doing this last few days is watching the news on mute. Why am I watching the news on mute? because I want to change the narrative. I want to change. I can choose to change the narrative. What is the narrative that we can hold for the next 48 hours is blessing one another, not only for our privilege to vote, but for the action that you actually did it. Can we give thanks for nothing more than that? That we literally either went and voted or licked that envelope or went through the process of, oh gosh, did I do it right? Did I do it right? Oh my heavens, did I sign it? Oh gosh. I mean, in some states you have to put it in a secret envelope. And so when I heard that, I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't think I have a secret envelope. Well, that's not us, but that's them. We're almost there, guys. 48 more hours ish. And then we have a whole new way of being. And hopefully a whole new way of being with each other. Are you with me there? Okay. So I'm going to talk about the choice. I'm going to talk about the power of choice, to choose from compassion, and that my choice has influence. And you've heard me talk about influence. I love to talk about influence because that's who we are as religious scientists, that we can influence, can't we? And we can influence what's going on in the big picture. The power of choice, and often people speak of God's will as if there was a God forcing its will on us. That's not what we believe, is it? In fact, we believe that we have choice in the will of God or spirit, that we have our own will. And me with the science, we have the uncertainty principle, and that proves that we have our own free will. And I love that. Free will. And so I would like us to use our free will to love on each other. To love on each other. Let's not buy into the Great Divide. Let's not buy into that. Let's buy into honoring each other for our choices. We can disagree, we can condemn, or we can love and honor and respect one another. We have a choice. What is your choice? How do you want to be in this? I live in a community here in Roseville where my choice almost looks like the minority. My choice almost looks like the minority. So I have been learning to look beyond appearances, because that's what we do as religious scientists. We look beyond the situation, beyond the condition, beyond the effects, if you will. And as soon as I do that, then my choice is not in the minority. My choice is to love, and I become the majority. I become the majority in love with the majority. And I can tell you right now, I feel so much better when I'm in that choice. Our choices can definitely be powerful. They can also influence our health, our bank account, our well-being. Do you understand? This is really, really important because sometimes I forget this. I just get all up in it. Like, You have to believe like me. What is wrong with you? Or, oh my gosh, look at us. We have choice. We're free. Freedom, liberty. We have values in this country that we strive to achieve. We have a vision in this country that we strive to achieve. We have guiding principles. Isn't that wonderful? And we can choose to honor them, to embody them, to experience them, or not. I do both. Who does both? What's the difference in the feeling in your gut? Right? That's another good thing. We have a body that helps to guide us. How does this feel when I'm hating on you? How does this feel when I'm judging on you to the point of condemnation? How does it feel when I don't like your opinion so much? I can't have you at my table. Has anyone else felt that way? I can't have you at my table. Are you kidding me? What would we talk about? Well, we have an infinite mind that invites us to use it always. That means we have infinite choice. Are you kidding me? Do you realize that we have infinite choice? Is that wild? I mean, do you ever really kind of think about that? Do you ever wake up and go, I have infinite choice today? Wow, yowza. What a life we have. Spirit, God, the Almighty, whatever you call it, just call it. It is so giving of itself to itself that it accepts the choices we as the incarnate beings of divinity choose. We are born not only with infinite choice, but we're born in a country that says you're free to use it. Do you realize that in the next 48 hours we can simply influence consciousness by being grateful just for this power to choose? That we can stop the noise? Join with me. Turn the sound off on the news. Oh, it's tempting to turn the sound on. Oh, my heavens. And then there's some of the stations where there's writing on the bottom of the screen. So I can cheat. I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got to listen to this. Oh, my heavens. Am I the only one doing this? Raise your hand if any of you are with me here. I'm kind of feeling, thank you. Thank you so much. Sometimes I feel like I'm way out there. That's when I say, and I'm your spiritual leader. That's my favorite line. And look at what I just did. And I'm your spiritual leader. So our power of choice is innate. Sometimes I don't think of the things that I'm so blessed to have. My healthy body, food on the table. I was thinking November should be a theme of gratitude. A theme of gratitude all month long, because that's kind of, our thing. And we have living as compassionate conduits. Well, I think that conduit piece is recognizing our bounty. It's recognizing our bounty. We're able to then move that energy through this conduit so that it affects our brothers and sisters, our animals, our planet. And we can ask ourselves, how are we demonstrating our divinity in the choices we make? Demonstrating our divinity. Do you ever walk around saying, I'm demonstrating my divinity? I think this is just awesome. Could we do that for like 48 hours? I'm demonstrating my divinity. I think I'm going to keep the gavel until like the end of election night, and then I can use it. Or, you know, because sometimes I forget that I'm demonstrating my divinity. Do you forget sometimes? Good Lord. You know, when we are demonstrating our divinity, we're living our authentic self. I mean, how many of you say, I want to live my life authentically? That means I want to tell the truth. I want to speak my mind. I want to speak up. No, I'm not doing that. No, I'm not going there. No, I think I'll do this. This is our authentic self. I want to live authentically. That means I have to learn how to speak my mind so that I can be heard. So if I'm shoving it on you, that is not going to work, is it? Oh, my father. Oh gosh. He always reacted to the way I brought an idea to him, because I would bring ideas as if it should be your idea. Oh my God, my brilliance is lighting up the room. I am amazing. You can't believe what I just figured out. And my father would be like, I'm not ready for you. I'm not even ready for you. Like, no. I never had that gift that my sister had of, Dad, what do you think of this idea? I'm wondering, can I try it on you? Oh, please do. Bring it. No, not me, not Sharon. No, I'd run to the table. Hey, we're going to do this. Oh, stop it, Patricia. I still do it. I know. And you're laughing. You're laughing. Stop it. Stop it. We have to learn how to live authentically, don't we? So that it's a little palatable. I'm learning that. Okay. I want mastery of that by the end of my life. I've gone 70 years. I'm not there yet. Choice is the essential point of power in the individual. This is what Doug's poem was about. Choice is the essential point of power in the individual. Do you think that sometimes? Do you walk around saying, choice is my center point? We don't do that, do we? We don't realize it's almost it's understood. It's taken for granted. But if we could in the next 48 hours honor that, well, then we would honor it from the other person, then, wouldn't we? If we were honoring it inside of us, wouldn't we then maybe move that dial a little bit to honor the choice others make? Let's do that for like 48 hours. Let's celebrate choice. We have choice. It's our center point. It's our authenticity. It's creative. We demonstrate from consciousness and we influence consciousness. Listen to this from Ernest Holmes. Obviously, God could not create man with the gift of free choice without making him able to think. And he cannot think without bringing upon himself the results of his thinking. Universal mind has no choice but to create through law the thought that is given to it. If it could contradict that thought, it would be recognizing something outside of itself and would not be a unity. We're the ones given choice. I almost just tear up here. What a gift. And honestly, it has been a while since I've woken up saying, hallelujah, I have choice. But something about this election is bringing it to my attention. But I want to be in attention. I want to pay attention. I want to give it my attention. You know, I'm a photographer. And so I often think about my spiritual practice of contemplative photography is to focus and to see what image I can create by focusing, by using the technology. Well, what if in the next 48 hours, instead of us sitting on the edge of the world, we sat in astonishment of who we are in our divinity and our authenticity. Oh my heavens, I would look at the person on the other side of the aisle a lot differently. My brother, my sister, look at that divinity go. You've got choice. You're rocking that choice. You are rocking that choice, because that is not where I've been standing. And that's your spiritual leader. So choose from compassion. Does it not benefit us to always choose from a place of compassion, self-care, integrity, and goodness? How many of us are making choices other than? Anybody? Like, oh, how about the fear of someone's choice? Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Is it doomsday? Anybody do the doomsday dance? It's doomsday. It's doomsday. Because we are witnessing people making choices that affects our personal life. Isn't that wild? That's wild. That is wild. And you know what happens when someone makes a decision for us that we don't like and we stay in the don't likeness? We add to the don't likeness of the choice the other is making. Do you know that you can neutralize that behavior? I mean, we're religious scientists. We're all about neutralizing, aren't we? How can we make choices that engage both the wisdom of the divine and at the same time choose in a way that incorporates compassion? You know, this is a 24-48 hour assignment. I've already decided. I've already assigned it to myself. I've already decided this is who I'm going to be in the next 48 hours. I am going to decide, okay, how to engage in the wisdom of my divinity and your divinity through compassion. Through compassion, not just for you, but for me too. Because I can't know compassion for you without knowing it for me. Do you get that? You can't just pretend this is a wand. You can't just move a wand like Linda over there, Supergirl, Wonder Woman. You can't just wave a wand and throw your compassion out without having it within you as an experience. You can't even intellectualize it within you. You have to experience compassion. Where are you afraid? Where am I afraid? What can I do to self-soothe? spiritual mind treatment, meditation, a good Cabernet. No, I mean, contemplation, reflection. And Debbie's laughing. She's like, mm-hmm. Our goal here is to bring forth what is already within us, to awaken our true power, love, wisdom, and joy by focusing our minds on wise and compassionate choices. How about a mantra? How about a mantra for the 48 hours? I honor my choice. I honor your choice. I give thanks for the privilege to vote. I give thanks for the privilege to not vote. I give thanks for my choice. I give thanks for your choice. And again, you can't be thankful or you can't put it out here without doing it in here. So you want to give gratitude for your choice, for your choiceful life. Isn't that beautiful? I just made that word up. I'm living a choiceful life. Is that a word, Debbie? Choiceful? I don't think so. I think I just made up a brilliant. Here's where I would run into the kitchen.
Yes, because you made it so.
Right? And then I would run into the kitchen and tell my father what a great Dad, start using this word. Look at this, choiceful. It's a good word. Instead, I could say, Dad, I'm thinking. I got a new word. You want to hear it? Apparently, my dad is absolutely in my mind today. And last, my choice has influence, right? We have a spiritual identity. We can cultivate within ourselves the awareness that our choices influence the whole. We know this. And, don't entertain the thought that your choice can't influence the whole. I'm only one person. Well, you know what? You're one person with the power of God behind you. As Ernest Holmes says, backed by the Holy Spirit. You are powerful. And can you imagine if in the next 48 hours, all of us together lived in, thought in, breathed in gratitude for our choice, gratitude for your choice? I'm grateful for my choice. I'm grateful for your choice. How about that mantra? I'm just making it up as I go along here today because that's what you pay me for. We can come to the realization that our freedom and our enlightenment is connected to everyone else. Yikes. Yikes. Our freedom and our enlightenment is connected to everyone else. You know what's funny is when I decided to be Ruth Bader Ginsburg, I thought justice. I thought of the principle justice that I've been teaching about throughout the whole pandemic. I've been studying justice. I've been learning about justice, and there's not a lot about it in religious science. Again, if I were writing the book, it would be chapter whatever. It would be in there. Justice for all. Justice for all means I have to have it first. You have to have it also. If you don't have it, we all don't have it. If you don't have liberty, we all don't have it. This is big. This is big. We have got to learn to feed one another, to care for one another, and not when it's emergent, because then we automatically do that. Do you know that? We resort to helping each other. Did you see in that video where there was a hurricane and the floods? Did you see anybody divided into two lines? Did you see anybody in the fires not care for one another, care for their animals? Bring them into your homes. My brother's house burned down last year, and where did his family go? Into my home. There's just no doubt. There's no hesitation. And do you know that it's like that with total strangers in the emergency? There's just, nobody says, "Hey, are you an elephant or a donkey?" No one does that. When push comes to shove, divinity shows up. Well, how about no push, no shove? We just live in that divine way with each other. The declaration of principles that I bring every week, today's one I chose is, we believe that the kingdom of heaven is within us and that we experience this kingdom to the degree that we become conscious of it. How about we, for the next 48 hours, stay in consciousness? Stay conscious of consciousness. That's a good one. Boy, I'm coming up with them today. And in summary, let's commit to our own growth, to loving ourselves enough to be our best selves. Let's recognize the ability to choose within us. This is a natural ability. And continue to use that power regardless of what conditions surround us, regardless of what's going on. And it's going on very loud. How many times have I said, "Oh my, I've never been here before"? That it's like watching a hurricane where the cow's up there, You're like, "Wow, this couldn't be good." Yikes. Wow. That's kind of how I've been walking around. Oh, wow. This couldn't be good. Let's say yes to choice over and over and over. And Ernest Holmes says, what's the purpose of science of mind? Don't you love that? What's the purpose? The whole purpose of the science of mind is to reconcile the apparent separation of the spiritual world, which must be perfect, with the material world, which appears imperfect. Who's with me in the next 48 hours that we honor this beautiful thing we have called choice in ourselves, and more importantly, in each other? Let us pray. So stay for fellowship after. You can literally go into a breakout room with a practitioner or minister for a 5-minute miracle, we call it, or 5-minute spiritual mind treatment that will stay with us for 48 hours. You can also put your prayer request in on our website, and we will pray for a week for and with you. There's a power, an infinite mind, called by many names, celebrated all over the world. Sometimes today, sometimes Saturday is the Sabbath. Called by many, many names. Called by beauty and freedom and love, compassion, joy, equality, unity, oneness. That powerful, powerful presence is everywhere. It lives and breathes and has its being in its creation. The Creator creating creation. the beauty in our earth, in our full moon, in the face of each other. That mind, that infinite mind, is my mind. It is the mind of each of us. It is my mind. My mind is infinite and powerful and creative. And I know that for each of us, the good news, the absolute wonderful good news is that we can use that power. We can use that power to create more love in the world, more freedom, more equality, more equity, so that we take care of each other. There is one prayer, and that is oneness and unity. That means no one's left out. We all treat every moment with each other like it's an emergency. It's an emergency to love. It's an emergency to care for one another, honor one another, allow each of us our choice, and then honor it. With compassion, we choose. With compassion, we respect one another. I am so grateful to know that I can walk upon the earth and from my lips, a mantra is spoken. I am that that is. And in that, all that is perfect, complete, and whole. And I give thanks from the depths of my soul that this prayer is answered, that it simply is released into the law that always says yes. And so it is. Yes. Yes. That's our mantra. Yes.
Well, now it is our offering time, and we are offering you an opportunity to give. As you receive, we give. And there are three ways to offer. You can do PayPal or credit card at our website, saccsl.org. Make a personal check to our address at Sacramento CSL, Post Office Box 1841, Highlands, California, 95660. And so as we stay muted, let's say together our abundance affirmation. I give thanks for the abundance that is mine to share and my willingness to share it, being in the flow of the law of circulation, knowing that my gift returns to me multiplied many times over.
Linda, thank you so much for that beautiful abundance affirmation. And while you're on stage, you're actually not on stage, but we're pretending. I think you have an announcement to make. I think you might even have two announcements to make.
Yes, I do. So the first one is that through our outreach, we are going to be collecting snacks, individualized protein snacks, and socks, winter socks, to donate to Heart in Citrus Heights. So we'll be gathering from 1:30 to 2:30 on November 14th. We are thinking Roush Park, but we'll get out the final details of that. So please, if you care to stop by for a visit with social distancing, bring a chair, a snack, something to drink, and just stop by to visit, or you can just drop by to drop your stuff off. And then we will be donating that to the Homeful in Citrus Heights on November 21st. So mark that on your calendars. And the other announcement I have is November 11th, I'll be doing the third part of Living a Heart-Centered Life, and it is through our second chakra, which is such a powerful energy force that sometimes can get overlooked. So we'll be discussing the importance of the second chakra, the feelings, change, motion is all part of our second chakra. The organs that and body parts that are affected when it is blocked. So we'll go through that piece and of course learn how to clear it so that we could use that powerful toolbox of energy that we have to manifest the desires that we truly want in our life. So please join me in November 11th at 6:30 p.m.
Thank you, Linda.
And for our first announcement, Jaime, if you could briefly tell us about tomorrow night.
Yeah, so this is a set of exercises that we've been doing for a few months now, and exercise along with sounds that help to release some of the emotions that might be stuck in our bodies and stopping us from being who we really need to be. Emotions such as stress, frustration, sadness, grief, fear. So by doing these exercises, we are able to release some of those emotions. So yeah, join me tomorrow, 6:30.
That seems very timely to me, Jaime. Around the election season, there might be some of us who have some feelings of stress, frustration, sadness, fear. I can't remember your list exactly, but I think those were on it. And so this sounds like a powerful time. It's always powerful, but this sounds like a powerful time to do that. Thank you for that gift that you share with us. Linda already talked about Wisdom Wednesday, so that is our second announcement, but it's already been done. And then, as always, during the fellowship time, you are entitled to a 5-minute miracle for something big or small. It doesn't matter. Spend a little bit of time giving to yourself by going into a breakout room with a practitioner and manifesting your new choice. And that is complimentary. We also wanted to tell you that if you have not yet voted, and I know many of you have, I'm going to be doing it this afternoon. We have sent out, I believe Reverend Patricia sent it out, a Centers for Spiritual Living voting guide. Now, you might think a voting guide is who you should vote for or what you should vote for. This is a values-based voting guide. Voting from your values and voting from CSL's values, which align so deeply with our own, is a powerful way to make our choices. So if you want that kind of guidance, go and look for it on the email. If you can't find it, maybe send a text to Reverend Patricia or to me, and we will make sure you get that. And that is it for our announcements, except I want to tell you that our closing song today is something special for today, for this season, and it's a little longer than usual. Relax, sit back, and enjoy.
Well, I got friends that love the Pope, friends that love their dope. I guess we're all just trying to find a higher place. I got friends that fit the mold, friends that dance on poles. In my living room, no one's out of place. My welcome mat. Don't care if you're white or black. Don't care if you're thin or fat. It ain't there to judge all that. My heart it's an open door. Don't care if you're rich or poor. Ain't the world just a big front porch? Anyway, I got friends that pay for fake ones. Some are happy with what God gave them. They can all hang out at my house any day. I got friends that love the babies. Some are still single in their 80s. Yeah, we're all a little crazy, but that's okay. My welcome mat. Don't care if you're white or black. Don't care if you got two dads. It ain't there to judge all that. My heart's an open door. Don't care if you're rich or poor. Ain't the world just a big front porch? Anyway, we all laugh at different jokes. We paint with different strokes. We all look the same from 10,000 feet above. And we all need love. Oh, we all need love. We all need love. My welcome mat. Don't care if you're white or black, blue, red, or Republican. It don't give a shit about that. My heart's an open door. Don't care if you're rich or poor. Ain't the world just a big front porch? Anyway, with the welcome mat. Now I've got friends that love the Pope and friends that look their dope. I guess we're all just trying to find a higher place.
Affirmation to carry with you this week, especially these next couple of days. Today, I choose wisely, compassionately, and decisively to express my authentic self in all that I do. Join me for our benediction. In this complete knowing that we are always at choice, that we are choiceful and choice-filled, and that this is a time to celebrate who and what we are, the creation of who and what we are as part of the infinite, expressing itself, making these choices. I know that each and every one of us moves into this week and this life with choice filling us, knowing that the kingdom of heaven is at hand and is everywhere and is all that is, that it is what we are and who we are. This week unfolds filled with blessings expected and unexpected, and we are open to this good. In this knowing of radiant good, I give thanks for answered prayer, and I release this word into the law that says yes abundantly, and so it is. Join with us for our fellowship. You know that our fellowship is not recorded and that you have the option for a prayer breakout room. Love to all.